That's Nick.
That's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about episode 6 of 9 Perfect Strangers, which is titled Motherlode and will be available on Hulu September 8th, 2021.
Motherlode is a gay bar in West Hollywood. It's still not open.
It's also the name of a new film about to be in Venice about gold miners in Mexico.
All right, so episode 6, we learned some more facts. It's just a series of events leading us into the abyss, I don't know.
The facts of life.
The episode opens with Masha standing in the kitchen of Tranquillum, or a kitchen in Tranquillum.
Which would be a really nice title, Masha Standing in the Kitchen. Chekhov B-side, but anyhow.
Okay. Well, we see her thinking of an image, or she's imagining this image of a young girl, which we assume is her, because it's like a young blonde kid, and the kid is like stuffing her face with cake, and then we see Masha stuffing her face with cake when she comes back to her senses and realizes that Nicole Kidman can't eat cake, so she like spits it out into the sink. Then essentially the first half of the episode is Masha has adjusted everyone's doses to induce hallucinations. So we just sort of get a series of everyone, like what their hallucinations are. We start off with Frances, Melissa McCarthy's character, seeing her ex who swindled her.
Not an ex, just a man that catfished her.
They were in a relationship.
Sure, but...
So that's her ex. Wow, it was real enough that she gave this man $128,000.
Yes.
So she's envisioning him like as a little tiny thing, like 6 inches tall, dancing on the floor, dancing on the toilet seat, mocking her, performing a song from Cabaret. And that's when we learned that like this dummy gave him all that money. We see that. What are some other dreams? Oh, Jessica, Samara Weaving's character, dreams that like her nose has fallen off. Okay.
And starts shrieking and has to be calmed down. And Masha's just there around the corner. Luke Evans is having
Lars.
About being called the F slur.
He's being called the F slur by a group of kids.
And is woken up by Masha being in his bed. And she shares that with auditory cues and the drugs, she has induced this particular memory. So she's leading them to have these experiences, to revisit these memories.
But the focus of the dreams would be the Marconis, because they're having like a shared hallucination,
which is very rare,
of their dead son Zach, which is punctuated by Zach telling Heather, the mom, that, bitch, you killed me. Because you put me on these antidepressants and you didn't read the side effects that say these could cause suicidal ideation.
It was asthma medication.
Oh, it says asthma? That's even worse. Oh my, now I'm even more annoyed.
Tisk.
I thought it was antidepressants.
No.
So it's obviously maybe Heather assuming guilt for her son dying. But we see Zach telling his mom, you read the instructions or read the information about this asthma medication, and in one tiny portion you underline suicidal ideations, and you let me use it anyway.
And her reaction, I will say that acting there, is visceral.
That is so stupid.
But it's dumb. The plot is dumb, but I think the actress was fine.
Sure. Ugh. Now that I know that it's asthma medication, I'm even more annoyed. I'm so annoyed. Because my other note is that, like, we find out that Napoleon's anger towards his wife is that he can't forgive her for not reading the label on her son's medication.
She reads the label on everything.
So, what?
Yeah, it's dumb.
You can't forgive your wife that she let your kid take asthma medication that may cause suicidal ideations. Like, this fool needs to breathe.
You need to be mad at the doctor then.
Oh my God. I'm like, this is real-time reaction to this because I didn't realize it was his asthma medication. I'm so annoyed.
Well, I mean, actually, you can't even be mad at the doctor. I mean, that's why it's stated that might be a side effect. And I mean, nobody takes
the FDA allow. It doesn't matter. We're getting down a road that doesn't matter. It's just that, like, this feeds into my thought about whoever wrote this shit really thinking that this is provocative
Or
and bold and like, what's the word? Starts with an S.
Shit.
No. Anyway,
I think that making this seem like it's maybe an interesting ethical dilemma.
It's not.
Or a universal fear of parents, and we all are putting stuff in our body. Like that kid was probably doing other stuff as well that is not regulated by the FDA.
Other things we learn is that so the reason Carmel, who is Regina Hall's character,
I thought this was dumb.
The reason Carmel wants to be a Tranquillum is because Masha had an affair with Carmel's ex-husband. Which begs the question, if Masha's handpicking everyone, why would she let this lady whose ex-husband she had an affair with, or then husband, like why would she let her there?
But this was before her Tranquillum days. This is back in her days when she was a
CEO.
A high-flying CAO who slept with married men.
Because there are no strings attached. So, of course, Carmel says, well, why would you let me be here if you knew why I was coming? And she says, because I want to heal you. And she says that to the Marconis as well. Mm-hmm. I just want to heal you. Okay.
But she does ask her if she's the one sending her threatening messages, because that, of course...
Because it would make sense that she is.
What is this, 6 hours of... 6 hours technically being with these characters, and that's still hanging over us.
We also get Lars interviewing Carmel, because we can't forget, we find out in episode 2...
He's a journalist.
He's an investigative journalist, so that it's episode 6 where we see him doing some investigative journalism, which amounts to him setting up his iPhone to record Carmel talking about what she thinks Tranquillum has done for her.
Melissa McCarthy has a conversation with her, who claims everyone's gotten better except you.
Then there's a scene where everyone
in 5 days.
Yeah, there's a scene where everyone's at the pool except the Marconis, but they were all told with this adjusted dose, you cannot go in the water because you might drown. So there's kind of a scene where everyone's particularly Tony is paranoid. I thought that was a waste of a scene.
It was dumb. And then Delilah has to come and act also panicked.
I didn't understand why she was panicked, because they're in the water, no one's drowning. Just calmly ask them to leave.
She got cagey because they were asking about what happened to Heather, because they were bring the Marconis forth, and they're Heather's... She doesn't use the right kind of language that tips them off that something's happened to Heather. And also Michael Shannon to Nicole Kidman being is she okay? Is she gonna be okay? Do you think that anybody really knows the answer to that here based on what's happening?
So approaching the end of the episode, we have Masha talking to Napoleon, Michael Shannon's character, and Heather, saying, I can help you both share an experience with your dead son. Mm-hmm. Well, how are you going to do that? Well, with these hallucinogens. And then she's trying to explain. And I just thought, is this woman's... Because up to this point, 6 episodes in, all we really understand is that Masha's intention is to do research with these hallucinogens to heal people. So it's girl, are you implying that we have to be high to be,
or that
you have to be in a constant state of
Well, she's saying that I think where it's going is that we can tap into this kind of alternate reality through the use of drugs, and maybe that can be therapeutic and or supernatural and weird.
It just doesn't feel like we're treading any interesting or new ground. Any of us who have ever done any sort of drug, we all, or even enough alcohol, shit gets bent. Uh-huh. You start seeing things differently. I feel like this movie is the person who wrote it, maybe one time someone gave them a clip of a corner of a shroom, and she's I know the story to tell.
I don't think she's done enough drugs to be right.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The episode ends with
Go
Delilah.
ask Alice.
The episode ends with Delilah and Yao walking through the woods, and Delilah saying she doesn't want to be complicit. Mm-hmm. Which, again,
That's not the actual end, though.
What's the actual end? The actual end is we see Masha as a flashback of who we think is her, the same girl from the beginning of the episode, but then we see that girl riding a bike into the street and getting hit by a car.
With Nicole Kidman screaming.
But again, we don't know that. I assume that was Nicole's daughter, but it could have been Nicole.
It could have been. We don't. Masha. It couldn't.
Masha.
We wouldn't know. But it did make me
know.
think. Once again, it's very fun to watch Nicole Kidman on screen, but I wanted to put it on mute and just write my own story about what's going on for her.
It is this episode also where I think we get a couple of shots where it's like really obvious that her face is frozen in time, which I found to be a little alarming, but but she is fun to watch.
She's fun to watch.
And there are moments when she looks ethereal.
Yeah, and that I kind of like that, the forced drama of that scene to cover of Windmills of Your Mind. I did, by the time we recorded this, of course, I think the first 3 episodes have already aired, and I didn't verify this beyond Regina Hall's Instagram post, but apparently this is the most streamed Hulu series thus far, which to me is crazy, considering the overall quality thus far.
Well, we have 2 more episodes to go.
And you cannot tell me whatever happens in those episodes that this novel could not have been adapted effectively into an hour 40-minute film.
Yeah, this could have been a 100-minute movie.
Which I did think about Big Little Lies. I haven't watched the 2nd season of that, but Big Little Lies to me felt like you could have made a very concise, excellent, well done 2-hour film out of that.
Anyway, maybe the last 2 episodes will change your mind. Anything else?
No.
Bye.
Bye.